Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode here on Inside the Mind of a Hacker. Uh, I'm your host again, Andrew, and today I'm going to talk about. I've got a question that came through and saying, Andrew, what's your biggest advice that you can give if I'm starting out in cybersecurity? So, what's the biggest thing that I think is super important if you're looking at pursuing a career in IT security? Now, for me, I would say the first thing is to have a baseline. And what a baseline is basically a foundation. Understand the basics. Understand, I guess, the how things work. And actually, before we even talk about having a foundation of things, I'm going to move that here because that's not relevant. I'd say the first and foremost thing, if you want to get into security, if you want a career in cybersecurity or information security or whatever, the very first piece of advice: be obsessed and love what you do. Because if you don't love what you do, then it's going to be a problem. Okay. Second piece of advice: if you love what you do, then you wouldn't be listening to this because you'd be out there building your knowledge. You'd be out there creating something. You'd be creating a script or a virus or a worm or a Trojan, or you'll be creating some sort of rootkit. You'll be practicing your routing. You'll be practicing your switching. You'll be doing the real world stuff, and that's happening out there in the real world, right? And I better stop drawing here because I'm having a little bit too much fun. But what I would say is build your knowledge. Start with one thing, and that starts off with having a plan. So get a plan in place. Now, if you have a particular plan for 5 years, where do you want to be at those 5 years? If 5 years happen, it's 2018 now. My 5-year plan in 2019, 2020, 21, and 22, right? So game plan 1, get your CCNA. Be route switch ready. Maybe year 2, you want your CCNP. But you realize that you don't like routing and switching and you prefer, maybe you did some Microsoft stuff, or you particularly like Python, or you like your scripting and that sort of stuff. And that's okay. You have to touch. And this is what I'm saying. If you're starting out in security, start broad. Really touch on everything. Touch your Microsoft, your MS, touch your application stuff. So build stuff. Get into your network. Start with Cisco. Build some networks out. If you don't like networks, great. What else is there to do? And start picking your niche. What thing do you actually love doing? And it might not be security. It might not be technology. It might not be this side of the world. And that's okay. If you realize that you don't like networks, you don't like applications, you don't like Microsoft, maybe you like, project management. Awesome. And focus on that, right? But my biggest tip around cybersecurity advice would be this: is to have a plan. Have your game plan ready. What do you want to achieve in year 1? What do you want to achieve in year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5? And stick to it. Build an action plan. Have an action list, right? That says a weekly action. So for me, I would have, obviously my daily tasks that I need to achieve daily, which is broken down from weekly tasks, which is then broken down from monthly tasks. Then it's broken down from quarterly tasks, and that's it. And what I sort of do is stick to a 90-day action plan. Now, guys, excuse me for my writing. It is always horrible. But I have a 90-day action plan that I know in 3 months equals something. And you should too, because 3 months is, I think, a great terms of, you need to do something. If you don't like it, great. Understand why it didn't work or why it did work and move on from there. But from 3 months, you need to backtrack it. So what do I need to do every month? Great. What do I need to do weekly? And now what do I need to do to start today? Right? So have your action plan ready. Build your game plan. Be passionate. Be committed. And just know one thing, that there is nobody in the entire world knows everything. Okay? Have a plan. Stick to it. And always challenge yourself. If you get to a particular stage where you've accomplished, if you're a King Kong and you really get your CCIE and you have all your CCIE certifications, that's wonderful. You're awesome. That's great. But then What about another vendor? Do you want to look at, VMware and Citrix or F5 firewalls, or you want to go into whatever else there is, the EC Council stuff. And there's just a whole world out there. Do you want to look at payloads and create more payloads? Certificates are great, but then the real stuff comes here when you actually create things, create payloads, create rootkits. I love creating rootkits because they're so hard to detect in systems. And just do the real world stuff. I mean, how deep do you want to go? There's no rule book to follow. There's no rule book to say, this is it. This is how you get there. And most times you need to just walk through it and experience some things yourself, because then that's how you sort of be who you become. So get in there, build your 90-day action plan. Show me your 90-day action plan. I'd love to know how you sort of move forward with these things as well. If you have any other advice, tell me your advice. I'd love to hear what you expect to hear, and give me your 3 bits of advice as well. I'd love to hear 3 bits of advice as well. Guys, this has been fun. I hope that you've had a little bit of fun. I hope this is giving you a bit of, I hope it's giving you also a bit of value as well. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'd love to do my best to answer them as well. We'll talk to you guys again very, very soon. Thank you.